Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just want to say where the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. This is the continuation of the Mesillas Yesharim, which is the way of the upright, the path of the just, by the Ramchal. I have Moshe from the Yafa edition from Art Scroll. And this is what the Sefer looks like. If you still haven't seen, because this is actually part number 103. Baruch Hashem, continuing with chapter 25. It's actually a really short chapter, but I'm going to split it up into two more parts. Last time, the chapter is about the way to acquire fear of sin. And last time was talking about ideas supporting the truths related to that. So that you'll go back to that video to watch and find out. So now, continuing on. So it says this realization must be constantly reinforced. What is that realization that we said before last time? Eye that hears and eye that sees, ear that hears. And all of these are recorded. That was from the Pirkei Avos. So what does it say here? So however, this matter cannot be firmly envisioned by man's intellect, except through constant contemplation and intense reflection upon these truths. For since the matter is far from the perception of our senses, the mind cannot envision it without much contemplation and consideration. And the commentary says that is even someone who intellectually knows the truth that Hashem's Shekhinah is everywhere and that he sees and remembers all may find it difficult to actually feel and live with this reality. For it is not something that is grasped by the physical senses. That's from Or HaMesil. I mean, you can't identify it because you can't see it, right? So it's still hard for even those people. And a continuing additional commentary says, the Ramchal notes that since we cannot actually see that our actions are being observed, our words heard, and everything we do recorded, it is difficult for a person to picture this as a reality in his mind. The Chofetz Chaim at the end of Shem Olam, Volume 1, points out that the proliferation of technological advances in recent times can serve to strengthen our belief in these basic tenets of our faith. He focuses on three of the revolutionary inventions of his era, which were the telescope, the telephone, and the camera. Before the invention and improvement of high-powered telescopes, it was difficult to grasp that the actions performed in one place could possibly be observed even without one's knowledge many miles away. Those who refused to believe in Hashem's omniscience would insist that the notion that our actions on earth can be seen in heaven was too fantastic to believe. But now, writes the Chofetz Chaim, we realize that just as Hashem endowed man with the ingenuity to clearly see celestial objects in the faraway heavens, so too can every one of man's actions down on earth be observed by Hashem. Like it says, ayin ro'ah, an eye that sees. Similarly, before the invention of the telephone, it was unimaginable that one could whisper words in one place and simultaneously be heard thousands of miles away. This modern development strengthens our faith that every one of our words on earth can be heard by Hashem. Like it says, ozen shamas, an ear that hears. Perhaps most unfathomable of the 3 points of the Mishnah is V'chol ma'asecha b'sefer nechtadim. All your actions are recorded in a, quote, book. How could one imagine that an action performed by a person in private can be seen and recorded and then observed many years later? The phenomenon of the camera allowed this idea to become a reality before our eyes, allowing us to visualize this basic aspect of divine justice. The further advancement of electronic marvels of technology in recent years reinforces the vision of the Chofetz Chaim. Chofetz Chaim contends that the development of these inventions did not occur because later generations are greater than their predecessors, but rather is due to the narrowing of the spiritual capacities in our times. Earlier generations were able to accept on faith all aspects of our beliefs, including Hashem's all-encompassing knowledge. Later, with the diminishment of man's spiritual sensitivities, it became necessary to demonstrate these aspects of our faith in everyday life, so that even people of limited spiritual vision could see replications of basic principles of faith in the physical world. Hence, he's saying that in the past, they didn't need all this light. They got it, but now people needed things so that they could understand what this all means. Okay, and then continuing on. So in addition, even after one has conceptualized it, this realization departs from him easily if he does not constantly focus on it a lot. So we can now identify what will undermine Yiras Chet. It emerges that just as a great deal of contemplation is the way to acquire constant fear of Hashem, so too diversion of one's attention and the absence of contemplation are its great impediments. So meaning one will help you to have it, and then the other will go the opposite way, right? So then it continues. This is true, and that was me just giving that overview there, the interpretation. And then it continues. This is true whether such lack of attention is due to preoccupation with challenges of life or due to willful disregard. Any diversion of attention from these truths undermines the constant fear of Hashem. So anything that takes you away from it, then that you don't have that yiras chet. Okay. And commentary says that yiras chet is naturally undermined by any lapse in contemplation, even if the lapse occurs through no fault of one's own. The hallmark of yiras chet is constancy, as Ramchal repeats often throughout the chapter, and it therefore requires steady contemplation if it is to be sustained. Meaning, you have to keep doing it. It's like, even like he says here, even if the lapse is no fault of your own, it's a lapse. So you have to continue to contemplate, like he says. Contemplate to acquire the constant fear of Hashem. Just like anything, if you want to get somewhere with doing something else, you continually work on it, right? If you stop, you're not going to accomplish. So I'm going to stop here and keep it kind of short today. And I continue BeEzrat Hashem next time to finish this chapter. And I hope and pray that we'll all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and the rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beis Hamikdash. Amen. And thanks for watching.